How to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Stoicism, one introduction, raising the issue and posing the questions. Have you ever felt like a single word or an unintentional gesture from someone could ruin your entire day? Maybe it was a criticism, an unfriendly look, a message that was seen but never replied to, or simply a situation that didn't go your way. Those seemingly small moments can easily stir up a storm of emotions within us: anger, hurt, disappointment, discouragement. You lose focus, your mood takes a dive, and everything suddenly feels heavy. You sit there replaying that one sentence in your head over and over again. Emotions boiling, you want to react, to clarify, to make someone understand how you feel, but then you choose silence. And in that silence, the pain slowly eats away at you from the inside. Why are we so easily affected? Why can a person's unconscious behavior have such a powerful impact on our mental state? And more importantly, is there a way to remain calm in such moments? The answer is yes, and it lies within you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You can't be harmed unless you allow it." Profound and yet difficult to apply unless we learn how to master our emotions. In this video, you will discover 10 profound lessons that will help you take control of your emotions and maintain inner peace even when the world around you is in chaos. This is not just theory. These are practical tools proven over time through the philosophy of Stoicism and ancient wisdom to help you live a life that is grounded and resilient from within. If you're ready to stop being a victim of your emotions, if you're ready to reclaim your calm no matter what others do, come with me. This is the first step, and possibly the most important step you will ever take for your mental well-being. Second lesson. 1. Emotions are your choice. Imagine you're having a peaceful morning. You make a cup of coffee, open the window to welcome the early sunlight, your heart filled with calm. And then, in an instant, a provocative message from someone, a negative comment, or a tactless remark at work wipes all of that peace away. Suddenly, you're angry, irritated, agitated. Your mind is spinning, and tranquility feels so far out of reach. We often think that these emotions are natural reactions, that we can't control being hurt or offended. But that's a mistaken belief. Emotions are real, but your response is a choice. You can't control others' actions, but you absolutely can control how you respond. Stoic philosophy centers around a key idea. Between stimulus and response is a space, and in that space lies our freedom and power. That's where you choose calm over anger, understanding over judgment, forward movement instead of getting stuck in a cycle of negativity. Let's take a specific example. In a meeting, a colleague publicly dismisses your idea with a mocking tone. What's the automatic reaction? Outrage, hurt, maybe even an urge to fire back immediately. But if you pause for a few seconds, right at the peak of that emotional surge, and ask yourself, is this really worth getting angry over? You're taking back control. And here's a simple strategy you can start practicing. Step 1, pause and recognize the emotion. When your emotions are triggered, pause for a few seconds. Take a deep breath. Name the emotion: anger, disappointment, confusion. Step 2, ask, where is this emotion coming from? Is it from the other person's actions or from your expectations and interpretation of those actions? Step 3, choose your response based on values, not reflex. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be in this moment? And act accordingly. Emotions will come, but you don't have to live by them. You can step back, observe, and choose a healthier path. When you understand that emotions are a choice, you stop letting others control your day with a few words. You become free and stronger than you ever thought possible. Sometimes emotional mastery doesn't come from grand decisions, but from small, repeated choices made every day. Choosing silence instead of reaction. Choosing understanding over judgment. Choosing patience when things don't go your way. These seemingly simple choices are the foundation for building an unshakable inner self. Remember, no one can reach into your core unless you allow them. The hurt doesn't come from them. It comes from you letting their words define who you are. When you truly understand that emotions aren't something you're forced to have, but something you have the right to choose, your heart feels much lighter. And the more you practice, the more this ability becomes second nature. This isn't indifference. It's the highest form of inner maturity. It's the ability to stand in the middle of a storm with clarity, calm, and strength. As Epictetus once said, "The wise man does not allow his mind to be pulled by what he cannot control." And emotions, they're precisely what you can learn to master. Third lesson 2, don't expect others to be like you. You've given your wholehearted help to someone, but when you needed them, they went silent. You've sent thoughtful messages, only to be met with coldness. You've thought to yourself, if it were me, I would never treat someone like that. The familiar phrase, "I would never do that to you," may sound noble, but hidden beneath it is an unspoken expectation that others should behave the way we do. And when they don't, we feel disappointed, betrayed, and hurt. But here's a hard truth. Others do not live by your values. Every person is a complex mix of life circumstances, past wounds, experiences, and their own unique lens of the world. Expecting them to act like you is like expecting the weather to always be sunny. It's beyond your control and bound to lead to disappointment. Stoic philosophy teaches this core principle. Do not demand that things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and you will find peace. This doesn't mean you must tolerate bad behavior or ignore what's wrong. It means you stop placing unrealistic expectations on others. And that is the first step to protecting your inner peace. Imagine this workplace scenario. You're always punctual, thoughtful, and ready to support your colleagues. But when you ask for help, they dodge responsibility with excuses. You feel hurt and think, if it were me, I'd never act that way. But the disappointment doesn't come from their action. It comes from the expectation you placed on them. This is where you need to practice letting go of expectations, a vital skill on the journey to emotional mastery. Here are 3 steps to get started. Step 1, identify the hidden expectation. Every time you feel let down by someone, ask yourself, what was I expecting from them? You might be surprised to realize that you've been assigning them standards they never agreed to. Step 2, distinguish between desire and control. You may want others to be polite, grateful, honest, but you cannot force them to be. Understanding this will allow you to let go with grace. Step 3, focus on your own response. Instead of trying to change others, ask, how can I act according to my own values even when they don't? Letting go of expectations doesn't mean giving up. It is an intentional act, one that gives you back your emotional power and energy. You stop living in disappointment because you stop binding your peace to how others behave. Lao Tzu once said, "The less you expect, the more free you are." And that freedom isn't indifference. It's the sign of a mature mind that knows what is within its control and what should be released. When you stop expecting others to be like you not only feel lighter, you open the door to love more unconditionally and to live more authentically as yourself. Fourth lesson. 3. Let go of the need to always be right. Have you ever found yourself in a heated argument over something that wasn't all that important? Maybe it was about choosing the fastest route, the most efficient way to do a task, or even just who remembered an old event correctly. And after that argument, you didn't feel happy, only exhausted. In that moment, you may have forgotten to ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be at peace? The need to always be right stems from an unhealed ego. It gives us a sense of security, control, and sometimes even validation. But the price we pay can be high. Strained relationships, eroded trust, and a mind far less peaceful than we imagine. A wise way of living doesn't lie in winning every argument, but in knowing when to let go. In realizing that being seen as right is far less important than feeling light and free, no longer driven by the urge to control someone else's perspective. Picture a simple scenario. You and a loved one disagree on how to solve a problem. You're convinced you're right, and you're determined to prove it at all costs. But the more you push, the more distance grows between you. In the end, everyone's tired, and no one truly wins. That's when you can practice a small but powerful question. Do I really need to win right now? That simple inquiry can pull you out of a reactive mindset and bring you back to yourself, to a place where connection matters more than control. Here are 3 steps to help you let go of the need to always be right. Step 1. Recognize when the ego is speaking. When you feel the urge to win, pause. Place your hand on your chest and ask, is this my fear of not being acknowledged speaking up? Step 2. Shift from logic to connection. Instead of trying to convince, try to listen. Ask yourself, what can I understand more about their perspective? Step 3. Choose peace over victory. Some conversations are best ended not with one person being right, but with both people still standing together afterward. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're strong enough not to need validation in every situation. True peace comes from knowing who you are and not letting the ego trade that inner clarity just to be right. As the philosopher Lao Tzu once said, Lesson 4, other people's words do not define your worth. Have you ever felt confident about something you did until someone threw in a critical remark? Maybe it was a negative comment online, a passive-aggressive remark from a coworker, or the cold silence of someone you trusted. Suddenly, your confidence crumbles. You start doubting yourself. Your sense of worth feels tied to someone else's opinion. We live in a world where praise can lift us up and criticism can tear us down. But if your self-worth sways so easily, it means you've handed over your power to others. And that is the most dangerous thing of all. Marcus Aurelius once said, we love ourselves more than other people, yet we care more about their opinions than our own. This quote captures a common paradox. We value outside opinions more than our own inner knowing. But the truth is, your real worth doesn't come from what others say. You can be praised today and criticized tomorrow. If you let yourself rise and fall with every compliment or insult, your inner stability will always be at risk. An emotionally mature person is someone who knows how to distinguish between opinion and truth, between temporary emotion and core value. Let's consider this scenario. You've worked hard on a project, poured your heart into it, but instead of recognition, your boss bluntly says, "Is that all?" Your first reaction is hurt, then self-doubt. But pause and ask yourself, does that comment truly reflect my ability, or is it just one emotional viewpoint? This is where you need to practice 3 essential steps to protect your sense of worth. Step 1. Acknowledge the emotional wound. Admit that you're feeling hurt, sad, or disappointed. There's nothing wrong with that. The real issue is what you do with those emotions. Step 2. Separate emotion from truth. Ask yourself, are they saying this because I didn't do well, or because they're in a bad mood? Understand that their words often reflect them, not you. Step 3. Reaffirm your worth from within. Write down 3 things you're proud of about yourself. Recall your efforts, your principles, and the qualities no one can take away from you. That's what keeps you grounded, no matter what anyone says. Praise is a gift, but don't become addicted to it. Criticism is a challenge, but don't let it destroy you. Learn to receive all opinions like the wind. They may stir your leaves, but they can't uproot a tree with deep roots. When you truly understand that no one gets to decide who you are, except you, you'll feel lighter, stronger, and freer than ever before. That is the kind of inner power no one can take away from you. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. Fifth lesson 5. Learn to set boundaries. Have you ever felt like you had to say yes, even when you were completely drained? Have you ever agreed to help someone just because you didn't want to upset them, even while struggling with your own workload? If so, you're not alone. Many of us have become so used to pleasing others that we forget our own boundaries. When you constantly say yes to every request, you unintentionally send this message: I'm willing to sacrifice my needs to fulfill yours. Over time, your kindness is taken advantage of, not necessarily because people are bad, but because you've never shown them where the line is. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's an act of self-respect and a foundation for every healthy relationship. Just as a house needs a fence, your mind and energy need boundaries to stay protected. There's a powerful saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep giving without ever recharging, one day you'll feel depleted, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let's look at an example. You just got off work after a long, exhausting day. A friend texts you asking to vent about their relationship drama for hours. You know you're too drained to take in more emotional weight, but you reluctantly agree. The result? You lose your rest time and take on stress you didn't need. The solution isn't avoiding people. It's learning to say no clearly without hurting anyone. Here are 3 steps to help you practice this skill. Step 1. Define your personal boundaries clearly. You need to know what's okay for you and what isn't. When you're clear with yourself, it becomes easier to express that to others. Step 2. Communicate honestly but gently. Instead of saying, I'm tired, don't bother me, you might say, I really want to be there for you, but tonight I need to rest. Can we talk tomorrow? This way you show care without sacrificing your well-being. Step 3. Protect your boundaries through consistent action. Once you've said no, don't feel guilty and backtrack. Consistency helps others learn to respect your limits over time. Setting boundaries doesn't mean building walls. It means putting up a fence to protect the garden of your soul from being trampled. It's a clear expression of self-respect, a commitment to yourself that says, I deserve to rest. I deserve my own space. When you learn to say no to others without guilt, that's when you start saying yes to yourself. And when your energy is protected and clean, you show up in your relationships with more kindness, presence, and wholeness. Lesson 6. Don't live for other people's opinions. You were about to wear your favorite outfit, but change your mind for fear of being judged. You were ready to post something heartfelt on social media, then deleted it, worried about what others might think. You once dreamed of pursuing a different path, but hesitated because your family or friends might not approve. We live in an age where the gaze of others, both real and virtual, is everywhere. And slowly we forget one simple truth. We were not born to please everyone. The fear of judgment makes us shrink ourselves, hide our personalities, and live a safe but inauthentic life. We begin dressing for others, saying what's acceptable, doing what's encouraged, and little by little, we lose ourselves. True freedom doesn't come from being accepted by others. It comes from no longer needing to be. It comes from knowing who you are, what you want, and having the courage to live it, no matter what others think. Imagine a young person who loves art but grows up in a family that values stability and financial success. Every time they speak of their dream to become an artist, they're met with skeptical looks and phrases like, "You're too old to keep dreaming." But instead of abandoning that dream, they keep practicing, working, learning, quietly building their own path. And years later, that same courage becomes a source of inspiration for those who once doubted them. You can begin that same journey with one simple question: who am I living for? Here are 3 steps to help you practice living authentically. Step 1, recognize the fear of judgment. Each time you hesitate, ask yourself, am I stopping because I don't want this, or because I'm afraid of what people will think? That honest reflection is the first step to freedom. Step 2, identify your core values. Write down 3 things you truly cherish in life. These values will become your compass, guiding you no matter how loud the outside noise gets. Step 3, practice small acts of authenticity daily. From the way you dress, the way you speak, to the work you choose. Start showing the real you, even in the smallest ways. When you dare to be yourself, you'll attract the right people, relationships that don't require masks, and you'll realize being authentic isn't lonely. It's the path to the deepest and most lasting kind of connection. You were not born to play a supporting role in someone else's life. You are here to write your own story, truthfully, freely, and with inspiration. 7th lesson. 7. Respond to negativity with silence. You're having a high-pressure day, trying your best to stay calm. Then someone throws in a sarcastic remark. Maybe it's a cutting comment, a personal jab, or a deliberately annoying gesture. Your first reaction? A surge of anger. You want to hit back, to speak your mind, to defend yourself. But pause and ask, is this really worth my peace? We often think silence is weakness, that if we don't respond, others will walk all over us or think less of us. But the truth is, the right silence is not surrender. It is inner strength. An old saying puts it perfectly. The best answer to anger is silence. Silence doesn't mean you don't know how to respond. It is a deliberate choice, made by someone who knows that protecting their inner calm is more important than winning a fleeting verbal battle. Imagine you're in a meeting. A colleague deliberately twists your words to undermine or pressure you. Instead of reacting harshly, you stay silent, offer a calm smile, and maintain composure. This reaction not only disarms the other person, it also shows everyone around you who's truly in control. Silence becomes strength when others are losing control. and you refuse to get pulled into their emotional storm. A confrontation would only make things worse. You know that words spoken in anger often carry wounds that can't be undone. However, silence doesn't mean avoiding issues forever. There are times when you should speak, to assert your boundaries, clarify the truth, or express your perspective. The key lies in choosing the right time and manner. Speak when you're calm and speak from a place of clarity, not from hurt. Here are 3 steps to help you practice the art of silent response. Step 1. Pause for 3 seconds before reacting. When emotions surge, take a deep breath. Feel yourself in that moment. That brief pause becomes a shield for your inner self. Step 2. Listen without being defensive. Let the other person finish speaking without interrupting or rushing to counter. Sometimes they'll hear the flaw in their own words more clearly than you ever could point out. Step 3. If you do speak, do it with calm confidence. When it's time to respond, use gentle but firm language. Few well-chosen words spoken with clarity will carry more weight than a full-blown argument. Silence is not weakness, it is mastery. When you choose not to react in anger, you not only preserve your peace, you project a kind of strength that commands respect. And finally, a gentle reminder. Not every attack deserves a response, but every moment of peace is worth protecting. 8. Lesson 8. Transform anger with gratitude. Imagine this. You wake up late, rush out the door only to be caught in the rain, and when you arrive at work, your boss scolds you for a small mistake. On top of that, your phone notifies you that you didn't get the job you were hoping for. It feels like everything is conspiring to turn your day into a bad day. In moments like these, it's easy for anger, frustration, and complaining to take over. But there is another approach, gentle yet powerful, that can shift your emotional state in a remarkable way. Gratitude. At first it might sound absurd. I'm upset. Why would I be grateful? But it is precisely in your anger that, if you know how to return to gratitude, you'll watch the negativity dissolve, like clouds vanishing under the sun. Because you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. Those two emotions simply can't coexist. The philosopher Cicero once said, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others." When you practice gratitude, even for the small things, you gently remind yourself of what's still right instead of fixating only on what's going wrong. Try applying this in real life. Stuck in traffic on a rainy day? Instead of fuming, think, at least I have a vehicle to get to work. Criticized at the office? Be grateful that you have a job where you can learn and grow. Someone hurts you? Be thankful for the opportunity to learn how to love and protect yourself better. Here's a simple yet powerful exercise. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. They don't need to be big. Maybe a warm cup of tea, the morning sunlight, or a caring message from a friend. What matters is that you're training your brain to notice the good, even on the grayest days. Practicing gratitude helps you. Become more patient during adversity. Be gentler with those who let you down. Focus on what you have instead of what you've lost. And if you're thinking, there's nothing in my life to be grateful for, that's exactly when you need to start. Because gratitude doesn't come from perfect circumstances, it comes from a deeper, more mature perspective. When you focus on what's good, you give positive emotions the space to grow. And in time, those emotions will begin to replace your anger, irritability, and despair. So next time you feel yourself getting angry, try asking, what can I still be grateful for right now? The answer might not just change your mood, it might change your entire day. 9th lesson. 9. Criticism is an opportunity to grow. Have you ever received blunt feedback from someone, and instead of accepting it, you felt hurt or even angry? Your first reaction might be defensive. They're criticizing me, or they don't understand my situation, or worse, they're looking down on me. But if you pause and ask, is there some truth in what they're saying? You shift from reacting to reflecting, and that's when growth begins. We often get overwhelmed by emotion when facing criticism because we tie it to our ego. But the truth is, criticism is a mirror, not meant to hurt you, but to help you see yourself more clearly. It doesn't define who you are. It simply highlights a behavior or perspective you might not yet see. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "If someone points out a fault and you become angry, you're placing your reputation above your growth." A wise person sees feedback as a compass for improvement, not as an arrow to defend against. Let's distinguish two things: reaction and emotional reflex, fast, raw, often damaging. Reflection, the ability to pause, listen, and sift out what's valuable in what's being said. Here are 3 steps to help you receive feedback in a selective and healthy way. Step 1. Separate yourself from the words. Instead of thinking, "they're attacking me," try thinking, "they're offering a perspective." This helps you avoid identifying your entire self with one action or shortcoming. Step 2. Look for the truth, even if it's small. Even in poorly delivered feedback, there may be a seed of truth. Ask yourself, am I actually missing something here? Approach it with curiosity, not defensiveness. Step 3. Filter what's worth keeping. Not all criticism is valid. Learn to discern between constructive feedback and toxic judgment. Ask, does this person understand me? Want what's best for me? Offer anything specific or helpful? Accepting criticism doesn't mean blindly agreeing with everything others say. It's the art of extracting the useful part and discarding the harm. You don't need to be perfect, only willing to grow a little more every day. So next time someone offers direct feedback, instead of reacting, smile and say, "Thank you for sharing. I'll reflect on it." That's the sign of a strong mind and a person who's continuously evolving. Here are 3 steps to practice responding with timely silence. Step 1. Pause for 3 seconds before reacting. As soon as emotion arises, take a deep breath. Feel your presence in that very moment. This pause becomes a shield for your inner self. Step 2. Listen without being defensive. Try letting the other person finish speaking without immediately countering. Sometimes they may hear the irrationality in their own words. Step 3. If you need to speak, do it calmly. When you speak, choose gentle but firm words. A few well-placed sentences carry more power than a lengthy argument. Silence is not weakness, it's the art of mastery. When you choose not to react in anger, you don't just protect your peace. You display a strength that earns the respect of others. And finally, a gentle reminder. Not every attack deserves a response, but every moment of peace is worth protecting. 10th lesson. 10. The art of letting go. Some emotions don't just pass through us, they stay like uninvited guests. Lingering anger, blame, and regret over things we can no longer change. We carry them in our steps, in our thoughts, as if letting go means we're weak or forgiving too easily. But the truth is, does holding on make you any happier? Or does it just weigh you down, steal your sleep, and silently block new opportunities because your mind is stuck in the past? The Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal with the intent to throw it at someone. You are the one who gets burned. When you refuse to let go, you are the one still getting hurt, day after day, moment after moment. Letting go isn't weakness. Letting go is a conscious choice of maturity. When you realize that what's done cannot be changed, but how you move forward is still in your hands. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean condoning what was wrong. It simply means you no longer allow the wound to define you or dictate your future. You can start with this small exercise. Step 1. Write down what you're angry or regretful about. Who hurt you? What are you angry about? What did you lose? Step 2. Read it again, through the lens of growth. Is this emotion still relevant today? Are you trapping yourself in a story that has already ended? Step 3. Choose release. You can burn the paper, or add a single sentence. I choose to let go because I deserve peace. Letting go doesn't happen overnight. It's a conscious journey, repeated through consistent action. Some find it through meditation, others through exercise, or even a long journey. All are valid as long as they help lighten your heart. Remember, you can't pour clean water into a cup full of residue. If you want a new life, you must be ready to lay down what has become too heavy. Letting go is also how you open the door to receive better things. When you're no longer bound by the past, you begin to see life through new eyes, lighter, more loving, and more peaceful. There was once someone who held on to anger toward their parents for 20 years, until they wrote a letter, never even sent, just to release it. In that moment, their heart softened and peace returned. That is the miracle of letting go. No one else needs to change. You just need to choose to move forward. Every time you forgive, others or yourself, you put down a heavy stone from your life backpack. The lighter you are, the farther you can go. And eventually you'll realize, freedom is not the absence of attachment. It's no longer being pulled into the darkness within you. Ask yourself, what I'm holding on to, is it still worth the peace I seek? If not, let it go, because you deserve a gentler journey. 12th conclusion, choose peace, choose growth. Through these 10 lessons, you've journeyed through some of the most vital milestones in mastering your emotions, from realizing that emotions are your choice, to setting boundaries, embracing criticism, and letting go of what no longer deserves your inner peace. You've been reminded that no one can make you angry unless you give them that power. Expectations of others often lead only to exhaustion. Being right is not as valuable as being at peace. Your worth is not defined by praise or comparison. Boundaries protect your energy and your self-respect. You don't need to live under someone else's gaze. Silence is a powerful response to negativity. Gratitude is the key to breaking free from anger. Criticism is a mirror, painful but necessary. And letting go is the greatest gift you can give yourself. All of these lessons revolve around one core truth. Mastering your emotions is mastering your life. When you no longer let anger, words, or the past control you, you begin to live authentically, awake, intentional, and deliberate. No one else can live your life for you, so no one is worth losing yourself over. Imagine facing a familiar situation, criticism, a careless remark, a rejection. But instead of reacting as you used to, you pause, breathe, and respond from your inner strength. That is emotional maturity, and you are already practicing it. But remember, this is not a final destination. No one wakes up permanently peaceful. It's a choice you make, moment by moment, day by day. There will be times you slip, feel angry, hurt, or ready to argue again. That's okay. What matters is that you recognize it and return to the path you've chosen, the path of growth and peace. If you found these lessons meaningful, share this video or article with someone else who may need a moment of lightness, a breath of calm. Even one sentence may help someone through a storm. Thank you for walking this journey to the end. Keep practicing, because every day you choose peace, you step closer to the strongest, deepest, and freest version of yourself. And if one day you forget all of this, come back, read again, practice again. Peace isn't a distant destination. It's in every small choice you make each day. The more you practice, the more you become the version of yourself you're proud of. Choose peace, choose growth, and never forget, you are worthy.